Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global English Talks. My name is Susan, and I am very happy you are here with us today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mark. Thank you for spending some time with us today. This podcast is a calm place where you can listen to real English conversations about daily life.
Yes, exactly. Here at Global English Talks, we focus on simple English that people really use every day. No complicated lessons, just friendly conversations you can follow and enjoy.
We speak slowly, we use clear sentences, and we talk about situations that happen in normal life. Things like work, family, routines, feelings, and small moments during the day.
Think of it like sitting at a table with two friends who are chatting about life. You listen, relax, and little by little, your English starts to feel more natural.
And today we are talking about something everyone experiences almost every day, our workday.
Yes, maybe you work in an office, maybe you work from home, maybe you work outside, or maybe you study and have a busy school day. In any case, we all have stories from our day.
Sometimes the day is calm, sometimes it is very busy, and sometimes one small moment during the day stays in our mind the whole evening.
In today's episode, we will help you talk about your workday in simple English, the kind of English you can use with friends, coworkers, or even when meeting someone new.
By the end of this conversation, you will have new ideas and simple ways to describe what your day was like.
So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's spend a little time together improving your English through real conversation.
Welcome again to Global English Talks. Let's begin.
So, Mark, before we really start talking about workdays, I have a small question for you. How was your day today?
Honestly, it was a very normal day. Nothing dramatic happened, but it was still busy. I answered many emails this morning, had 2 meetings in the afternoon, and then I spent some time preparing notes for this podcast.
That sounds like a full day. Emails, meetings, preparation, those are very common parts of many people's workdays.
Exactly. And that is why this topic is interesting. When people meet friends after work, one of the most common questions is, "How was your day?"
Yes, I hear that question all the time. A friend calls you or you sit down for dinner and someone asks, "So, how was work today?"
And sometimes the answer is very short. Maybe someone says, "It was good," or "It was very busy." But there are many other ways to talk about your day.
I remember a small moment from yesterday. I was in a coffee shop in the late afternoon. Two people were sitting near me. I think they were coworkers finishing their day.
Oh, I like listening to those little real-life conversations.
Me too. One person asked, "So, how did your day go?" And the other person said something like, "Honestly, it started slow, but the afternoon was crazy."
That sentence already tells a small story.
Exactly. You can imagine the whole day, a quiet morning, then suddenly many things happening in the afternoon.
I like that phrase, "the afternoon was crazy." It is simple, but it gives a strong feeling about the day.
Yes, and we often describe our workdays like little stories, a beginning, a middle, and sometimes a surprising moment.
For example, this morning, I planned to finish one task quickly. I thought it would take maybe 20 minutes.
Let me guess, it did not take 20 minutes.
Not even close. It took almost 2 hours because one small problem appeared, then another one. You know that feeling when one tiny issue opens the door for 3 more problems?
Oh, yes, it's like opening one drawer and suddenly 5 papers fall out.
Exactly. But that is also what makes workdays interesting. Even normal days have small surprises.
And those small moments are perfect for conversation. When people talk about their workday, they are not only sharing information, they are sharing little pieces of their life.
So today, we're going to explore how to talk about those moments in simple, natural English.
Yes, from calm mornings to busy afternoons, and from small frustrations to funny situations.
And if you listen carefully, you will start to notice many useful expressions you can use when someone asks you that simple question, "How was your day?"
So today's topic is something almost everyone can talk about, your workday.
Yes, and it sounds simple, but it's actually a very useful conversation topic. When people meet coworkers, friends, or even new people, they often talk about their day.
Exactly. Think about it. You meet a friend in the evening, maybe you are walking home or sitting at a cafe, and someone asks, "So, how was work today?"
That question is very common. It's not a deep interview, it's just a friendly way to connect and share a little moment from the day.
Sometimes the answer is short. You might say, "It was good," or "It was very busy."
But other times, you want to explain a little more. Maybe something funny happened, maybe something stressful happened, or maybe your day was calm and quiet.
Talking about your workday helps people understand your routine. It also helps people understand how you feel.
Yes, when someone says, "Today was exhausting," you can almost feel their tiredness.
And when someone says, "Today went really smoothly," you imagine a calm and productive day.
These small descriptions are powerful. They help conversations feel real and human.
So, today's episode, we will explore simple ways to talk about your workday in English.
We will talk about how to describe what happened, how today felt, and how small moments can become part of a natural conversation.
And if you are listening right now and learning English, here's a small invitation.
Yes, while you listen, try to imagine your own workday.
Think about this morning. What time did your day start? Were you calm, busy, maybe a little sleepy?
Maybe you had coffee before starting work. Maybe you checked messages. Maybe you rushed out the door.
Those little details are perfect for conversation.
So, as we talk today, try to connect our ideas with your own daily life.
Because English becomes much easier when you talk about real things from your own day.
And that is exactly what we are going to practice together today.
So, Mark, let's start with a simple question. When someone asks, "How was your day?" what are they really asking?
Good question. Most of the time, they are not asking for every detail. They just want a small picture of your day.
Yes, it is like showing someone a short photo of your day instead of a long movie.
Exactly. When we talk about our workday, we usually explain three simple things: what we did, how busy it was, and how we felt about it.
Let's take a very simple example. Someone asks me, "How was your day?" I might say, "It was pretty busy. I had 2 meetings and finished a report."
That sentence is simple, but it tells a lot. We know you had meetings, you worked on something important, and your day was active.
Or maybe I say, "Today was slow. I answered emails and organized my desk."
That gives a different feeling. It sounds like a calm and quiet workday.
Sometimes people also add a small emotion. For example, "It was a long day, but I'm happy I finished everything."
Yes, emotions are very common when we talk about our day. Workdays are not only about tasks, they're also about how those tasks make us feel.
I remember one evening last week. It was around 7 p.m. I was walking home after work, and my neighbor asked me, "Long day?"
Just 2 words.
Yes, and I laughed because it really was a long day. I told him, "Yes, very long. I had a problem with my computer for almost an hour."
That is a perfect example. A small moment becomes a story.
Exactly. When we describe our workday, we often choose 1 or 2 moments that represent the whole day.
Maybe a difficult meeting, maybe a funny mistake, maybe a task that took longer than expected.
Or maybe something positive, like finishing an important project.
So, in simple words, talking about your workday means sharing small pieces of your day with another person.
Not every detail, just the moments that show what the day felt like.
And the good news for English learners is this: you do not need very complicated words to do that.
Simple sentences are more than enough.
Sometimes the most natural English is also the simplest English.
Mark, I want to share a picture that comes to my mind when I think about a workday. It is a little strange, but it helps me understand it better.
I'm curious now. What kind of picture?
Imagine a small kitchen early in the morning. The light is soft, maybe around 7 p.m. On the table, there is a big, empty lunchbox.
An empty lunchbox?
Yes. Now imagine that every part of your day is like a small item you place inside that lunchbox.
I like that image already. Go on.
When the day begins, the lunchbox is empty. Then slowly you start adding things. Maybe the first thing you add is your morning coffee and the first email you answer.
That feels very real. Many days start exactly like that.
Then maybe you add a meeting, maybe you add a quick conversation with a coworker, maybe you add a task that takes longer than you expected.
And sometimes you add something unexpected.
Exactly. Maybe your computer freezes, maybe a client calls with a problem. Suddenly, the lunchbox gets a little messy.
I like that part of the metaphor, a messy lunchbox.
Yes, because workdays are rarely perfectly organized. Some things fit nicely, other things get pushed in quickly.
I can imagine opening that lunchbox at the end of the day and seeing everything inside. Emails, meetings, small problems, small victories.
That is exactly the moment when people start talking about their workday.
It's like opening the lunchbox and showing someone what ended up inside.
Maybe you say, today was packed. That means the lunchbox was very full.
Or you say, today was pretty light. That means there were only a few things inside.
And sometimes you say, today was messy. Too many unexpected things.
I had a day like that recently. It was about 3 in the afternoon, and I realized my lunchbox was full of things I did not plan.
That is such a good way to describe it.
I planned 3 tasks for the day, just 3, but somehow I ended up doing 10 small things that appeared during the day.
That happens to many people.
At the end of the day, I told a friend, I was busy all day, but I didn't finish my main task.
Which means the lunchbox was full, but not with the things you expected.
Exactly.
And this metaphor helps us understand something important. When we talk about our workday, we are really describing what ended up inside our daily lunchbox.
Some days it's neat and organized,
Some days it's completely chaotic.
but either way, it becomes a story we can share with other people.
So, Mark, now that we understand the idea of the daily lunchbox, let's talk about some simple ways people can describe their workday.
Yes, and these are things you can say in real conversations. Imagine you meet a friend in the evening and they ask, "How was your day?"
Tip number 1 is very simple. Talk about the rhythm of your day.
That means explaining if the day was calm, busy, slow, or hectic.
For example, you could say, my morning was very calm, but the afternoon got really busy.
That sentence is powerful because it shows movement in the day. It tells us the day changed.
I remember a Tuesday a few weeks ago. It was around 9 in the morning and everything felt quiet. I had coffee, opened my laptop, and answered a few messages slowly.
A peaceful start.
Very peaceful. But around 1 o'clock, everything changed. Suddenly, I had 3 messages marked urgent.
That word always changes the rhythm of the day.
Exactly. Later that evening, I told a friend, my morning was quiet, but the afternoon was chaos.
And in one sentence, we understand the whole day.
Tip number 2 is to mention one small moment that represents the day.
This is something people do naturally in conversation. Instead of describing 10 tasks, they choose one moment.
Maybe something funny happened.
Or something frustrating.
I remember once I spilled coffee on my desk while answering an email.
Oh no.
It was around 10:30 in the morning. The coffee went everywhere. On my notebook, on the desk, even a little on the keyboard.
That moment probably stayed in your mind all day.
It did. And later, when someone asked about my day, I said, well, I started the day by spilling coffee on my desk.
And that one moment tells the story.
Tip number 3 is to talk about how the day felt emotionally.
Yes, work days are not just about tasks, they're also about how those tasks make us feel.
I remember one evening last week. It was around 7 p.m. I was walking home after work, and my neighbor asked me, long day?
Just 2 words.
Yes, and I laughed because it really was a long day. I told him, yes, very long. I had a problem with my computer for almost an hour.
That is a perfect example. A small moment becomes a story.
Exactly. When we describe our workday, we often choose one or two moments that represent the whole day.
Maybe a difficult meeting, maybe a funny mistake, maybe a task that took longer than expected.
Or maybe something positive, like finishing an important project.
So, in simple words, talking about your workday means sharing small pieces of your day with another person.
Not every detail, just the moments that show what the day felt like.
And the good news for English learners is this: you do not need very complicated words to do that.
Simple sentences are more than enough.
Sometimes the most natural English is also the simplest English.
Mark, I want to share a picture that comes to my mind when I think about a workday. It is a little strange, but it helps me understand it better.
I'm curious now. What kind of picture?
Imagine a small kitchen early in the morning. The light is soft, maybe around 7 p.m. On the table, there is a big, empty lunchbox.
An empty lunchbox?
Yes. Now, imagine that every part of your day is like a small item you place inside that lunchbox.
I like that image already. Go on.
When the day begins, the lunchbox is empty. Then slowly you start adding things. Maybe the first thing you add is your morning coffee and the first email you answer.
That feels very real. Many days start exactly like that.
Then maybe you add a meeting, maybe you add a quick conversation with a coworker, maybe you add a task that takes longer than you expected.
And sometimes you add something unexpected.
Exactly. Maybe your computer freezes, maybe a client calls with a problem. Suddenly, the lunchbox gets a little messy.
I like that part of the metaphor, a messy lunchbox.
Yes, because workdays are rarely perfectly organized. Some things fit nicely, other things get pushed in quickly.
I can imagine opening that lunchbox at the end of the day and seeing everything inside. Emails, meetings, small problems, small victories.
That is exactly the moment when people start talking about their workday.
It's like opening the lunchbox and showing someone what ended up inside.
Maybe you say, today was packed. That means the lunchbox was very full.
Or you say, today was pretty light. That means there were only a few things inside.
And sometimes you say, today was messy. Too many unexpected things.
I had a day like that recently. It was about 3 in the afternoon, and I realized my lunchbox was full of things I did not plan.
That is such a good way to describe it.
I planned 3 tasks for the day, just 3, but somehow I ended up doing 10 small things that appeared during the day.
That happens to many people.
At the end of the day, I told a friend I was busy all day, but I didn't finish my main task.
Which means, that sounds rare.
Very rare. When a friend asked me about my day, I said, honestly, today felt smooth. Everything just worked.
That word smooth gives a very clear image.
Tip number 4 is to end your story with a simple reflection.
That means a small thought about the day.
For example, it was busy, but I'm glad it's done.
Or, it was tiring but productive.
I sometimes say, it was a long day, but a good one.
That kind of sentence helps close the story of the day.
So when someone asks about your workday, you don't need a long explanation.
Just describe the rhythm, share one moment, talk about the feeling, and finish with a small reflection.
That simple structure makes your English sound natural and human.
Mark, after talking about busy days and messy lunchboxes, I think we need to talk about something very important.
Let me guess. Rest.
Exactly. Many people feel strange when they have a slow day at work.
Yes, they sometimes feel like they did something wrong.
But a slower day is not a bad thing. In fact, sometimes it is very necessary.
I remember one Thursday afternoon last month. It was around 4 o'clock. My main tasks were finished, my inbox was quiet, and suddenly there was silence.
Silence at work can feel surprising.
Very surprising. At first, I looked at my screen thinking, did I forget something?
I do the same thing.
But then I realized the truth. It was just a calm moment in the middle of the week.
And calm moments are part of healthy work days.
Yes, think about a phone battery.
That is a good image.
If you use your phone all day without charging it, what happens?
The battery dies.
Exactly. Our energy works the same way. Busy days use a lot of mental energy.
Meetings, emails, decisions, conversations, all of that uses your attention.
So when the day becomes calm for a moment, that is like plugging your battery into a charger.
Maybe you take a short walk.
Maybe you stretch your legs or make tea.
Maybe you just sit quietly for 5 minutes and breathe.
I remember that Thursday afternoon. I stepped outside for a few minutes. The sun was warm, the street was quiet, and I could feel my mind slowing down.
That sounds peaceful.
It was, and when I returned to my desk, I felt clearer and more focused.
That is something many people forget. Rest does not steal time from productivity.
Sometimes rest protects your energy so you can work better later.
So if someone asks about your day and you say, "It was pretty calm today," that is not a negative thing.
Not at all.
It simply means the lunchbox had a little space inside.
And sometimes that empty space is exactly what we need.
All right, Mark, it is time for one of my favorite parts of the episode.
The tiny word tour.
Exactly. In this part, we explore some simple words and expressions you often hear when people talk about their workday.
These are small words, but they are very useful in real conversations.
Our first word today is busy.
Busy means you have many things to do. Your time is full of tasks, meetings, or responsibilities.
For example, you could say, "Today was very busy. I answered emails all morning and had meetings in the afternoon."
This word is important because people often describe their day with it. When someone says, "I'm busy today," it means their schedule is full.
Our second word is task.
A task is a piece of work you need to complete. It can be big or small.
For example, my first task today was finishing a report.
Or you can say, "I still have 2 tasks to complete before I leave work."
This word helps you talk about the small units of your workday.
Our third word is meeting.
A meeting is when people come together to talk about work, share information, or make decisions.
For example, I had 3 meetings today, so I did not have much quiet time.
Meetings are very common in many jobs, so this word appears often in daily conversation.
Our fourth word is deadline.
Deadline is the time when something must be finished.
For example, I worked late because I had a deadline today.
This word is important because deadlines often create pressure during the workday.
Our fifth word is break.
A break is a short rest during the day.
For example, I took a short break after lunch to clear my mind.
Breaks help people recover energy during busy workdays.
Our sixth word is productive.
Productive means you completed useful work and made progress.
For example, today was very productive. I completed 3 important tasks.
People often use this word when they feel satisfied with how their day went.
And our final word today is smooth.
Smooth means something happened easily, without problems.
For example, the meeting went smoothly and everyone agreed on the plan.
When people say their day was smooth, it usually means everything worked well.
So these small words can help you describe your workday clearly and naturally.
And the more you hear them in conversations, the easier they become to use. All right, Mark, now I have a small challenge for our listeners today.
I like these challenges. They are simple, but they help people use English in real life.
Exactly. So here's today's mini challenge. Later today, take 1 minute and describe your workday in English.
Just 1 minute, not a long speech.
Yes, keep it simple. Imagine you're talking to a friend after work.
You could start with something like, "Today was pretty busy," or "Today was actually very calm."
Then add one small moment from the day.
Maybe a meeting that went well,
Maybe a problem that surprised you.
or even a funny moment.
I remember a listener who once told us about a small situation at work. It was late afternoon, around 5:30, and everyone was tired.
That is the moment when small things feel bigger.
Exactly. Someone accidentally sent a message to the whole team instead of just one person.
Oh no.
It was not a serious message, just a small comment, but everyone saw it.
That must have been embarrassing.
Yes, but later the person laughed and said, "Well, that was the most exciting moment of my workday."
And that one moment became the story of the day.
That is exactly what we want you to practice.
Choose one moment and describe it in simple English.
For example, you could say, "My day started slow, but later I had an unexpected meeting."
Or, the morning was stressful, but the afternoon was much better.
The goal is not perfect grammar.
The goal is expressing your real day.
So tonight, or whenever your day finishes, take a minute and tell the story of your workday in English.
Even if you speak quietly to yourself.
Because the more you connect English to your real life, the more natural it becomes. Let's now turn this idea into a few simple daily actions you can try.
Yes, small actions are powerful because they fit naturally into your day.
The first step is very simple. At the end of your workday, pause for a moment and think about the rhythm of your day.
Ask yourself a gentle question like, was today calm, busy, or somewhere in between?
Maybe your morning was slow and peaceful.
Or maybe the afternoon was full of meetings and messages.
Just noticing the rhythm helps you organize your thoughts.
The second step is to choose one small moment from the day.
It does not have to be dramatic. It can be something very ordinary.
For example, maybe you solved a small problem that was bothering you all morning.
Or maybe you had a friendly conversation with a coworker near the coffee machine.
I remember one day when my highlight was simply finishing a long email I had been avoiding.
That counts. Small victories are still victories.
The third step is to say one or two sentences about that moment in English.
For example, today was busy, but I finally finished an important task.
Or, my morning was stressful, but later things became easier.
You do not need many words. A few clear sentences are enough.
The fourth step is something I personally enjoy. Try sharing that sentence with someone if you can.
Maybe with a friend who is also learning English.
Or even by writing a short message in English.
Something like, "Today was long but productive."
These little habits slowly build confidence.
And over time, describing your day in English will start to feel natural.
Just like opening that lunchbox we talked about earlier and showing what the day placed inside.
So, Mark, before we finish today's episode, let's take a moment to look back at what we explored together.
Yes, because sometimes a short recap helps everything feel clearer.
Today, we talked about something very common in everyday conversation, describing your workday.
We started with the idea that people often ask a simple question like, "How was your day?"
And even though the question is simple, the answer can tell a small story.
We explained that when people talk about their workday, they usually share a few key things.
What they did during the day,
How busy or calm the day felt.
and one or two moments that represent the whole day.
I really liked the metaphor we used earlier.
The daily lunchbox.
Yes, at the beginning of the day, the lunchbox is empty.
And slowly, the day fills it with emails, meetings, problems, small victories, and sometimes surprises.
Then in the evening, when someone asks about your day, you open that lunchbox and show a few things that ended up inside.
We also talked about the importance of rest.
Because a calm moment in your day is not wasted time.
Sometimes it is the moment when your mind recharges.
And finally, we explored useful words like busy, task, meeting, deadline, break, productive, and smooth.
Small words that help you explain your day clearly and naturally.
When you combine these ideas, describing your workday becomes much easier.
And more importantly, it becomes a natural part of real conversation.
Which is exactly what we want when learning English.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode of Global English Talks. Thank you for spending this time with us and practicing your listening through real, friendly conversation.
Today we explored how to talk about your workday in simple English.
From busy mornings to calm afternoons, every day has small moments that can become a story.
And the more you describe those moments in English, the more comfortable the language becomes.
Remember, you do not need perfect sentences, just honest ones.
So later today, try our small challenge.
Take 1 minute and describe your day in English.
Think about the rhythm of the day, one small moment, and how the day felt overall.
Little by little, these simple reflections can turn into confident conversations.
If you enjoyed today's episode, share this podcast with a friend who is also learning English.
And come back next time for another relaxed conversation here on Global English Talks.
Until then, keep listening, keep practicing, and keep bringing English into your everyday life.
Thanks for being here with us.
And we'll talk again very soon.